Let's get into reactivity by talking about dynamic values. Couple videos back, I mentioned dynamic values and even spoiled the usage of this capability in templates. So let's dive deeper now. I have this simple button, and what I want is to increment the value whenever I click this button. So if I know I have a value that will change later, I can use a function to render it. That's what Markup considers as dynamic value. For example, I can inject a lambda function that returns a zero. Actually, let me move it inside a paragraph. As you can see, Markup renders just fine. This will always be zero, so let me create a count variable and return that instead. This gives me the ability to change the count value. So I'll create a function and set it as a click event handler. Inside, I'll simply increment count by 1. I'll also log its value change and go to the browser to check. If I click the button, I can see the log showing that the count is changing, but that value is not being updated in the DOM. What's happening? So whenever I have a change to a dynamic value, I need to tell the template about it. I will show you an alternative to this in the next video, but for now, first I want you to understand how things work with markup dynamic values. To make the template know about this change, I can call the update method in the template. Now, if I try this again in the browser, we can see that count is now being updated in the DOM. So what's going on? When we add a function in the template, Markup tracks it. And when we call the update method, Markup checks all dynamic values by calling them, make a shallow comparison with the result, and decide whether to update the DOM. Let me show you. I'll add a condition to only update count while under 5. Now, if I try this in the browser, you can see that as soon as I reach 5, the DOM does not update any longer, even though I'm calling the update method over and over again. Just because you call the update method does not mean that the DOM updates. Markup does not waste time re-rendering the DOM with same value. And this is because Markup tracks the data and not the DOM. You will see more on that later. For now, know that there is an update method and you can use it, and that you can set functions in the template that render values that you can manipulate as you wish.